Okay, so the recent Riverbed Global AI and Digital Experience Survey, I think the headline finding was that the when it comes to AI, we're at something of an inflection point. So perhaps you can just explain what that inflection point is, what's going on at the moment.
Yeah, so we wanted to know. So we ran this survey around 1,200, business and IT leaders because we wanted to understand where enterprises were in their adoption of AI, and what kind of challenges they faced and what they did to address these challenges. So what we found is that at a high level, there's a lot of enthusiasm for AI. So we see that it's a key focus for the C-suite for 94% of the respondents, and also 94% say that it's important for improving their digital experience. But AI has proven to be much harder to implement than anticipated, and there are several gaps that are holding most back from really fully realizing the benefits from AI. So actually only 37% today of the people are really fully prepared to execute their AI strategies. That's what we found. And yeah, as you're mentioning, what leaders really want today is to get past this AI hype phase, right? That to move into a more practical approach of AI that works, AI that scales, and really delivers concrete benefits to the enterprise. Yeah.
Okay, and in terms of the gaps or the challenges that were identified, I think they've fallen under sort of three categories, which is I think reality, readiness, and data gaps. So perhaps you can just explain a little bit more about what's going on with each of those.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was very interesting. So the first one, yeah, that you're mentioning, the reality gap, is where leaders in the survey tended to be overconfident when it comes to AI. So we found 82% think they are ahead of competition when it comes to AI implementation. And as you know, more than 50% of the people ahead of others, that just doesn't work, right? Mathematically. So they are overestimating really their abilities. So that by itself causes a challenge because it sets unrealistic expectations really for their AI transformations. The second one is readiness gap, right? A readiness gap where most companies are really not fully ready to implement their AI projects today. We saw that, as I mentioned, only 37% of them are fully prepared to implement AI that scales and that works. And 72% say it's been a challenge to implement AI. And probably the biggest one is the last one is the data gap. Right. So as AI is really based on data. So great AI starts with great data. And there's a concern here. 69% of the respondents say they have concerns around the effectiveness of the data that they're using for AI. And only 40% of them say they think their data is excellent for completeness and quality in general. And then, of course, there's a concern on privacy and security. 76% of them are worried that their proprietary data might end up in the public domain when they start using AI. So we believe that's probably the biggest inhibitor to AI success. Like companies don't have the right data, not complete enough, although cannot get it at the right time, really.
Okay, and on a more positive note, I think that all the respondents seem to think, I don't know how, as it were, if you ask them to show their working, shall we say, but by 2027, they all seem to think that everything would be rosy in the AI garden. So do you think that's a realistic sort of objective or confidence that they have, or do you think perhaps again some of them have underestimated what's required to get where they need to be by that time?
I mean, maybe, yeah. So what we saw in the survey is that only 12% of the companies are in the exploring or experimenting phases of AI. They're really focused now on mostly deploying AI. So they really just started this journey, and we see that they're moving there into a more concrete approach, as I described. They want to embrace AI that that works, that's practical, that delivers meaningful benefits. So yeah, so they're in this journey already, and they believe that in the next 3 years, 86% of them think they will be fully prepared to implement this their AI strategy. So during this time, so this next 3 years would be crucial for them to get things right, to gain a competitive edge using AI. So yeah, during that time, digital experience would be very, very important. They will still have to address all these gaps, including the visibility gaps from modern IT, and data observability would be there to support them on this journey.
And in terms of the benefits of AI, I think the survey sort of outlines that at the moment, or in the first phase, people are looking to use it to provide operational efficiencies, I guess, in simple terms, streamlining what it is they currently do. But the major benefit, and I don't know if you can maybe say as and when you think that might be appearing for folks, is that AI will actually drive growth for the business. So one stage there, I guess, consolidating what it is they do, but then AI's real benefit is helping them grow as an organization.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we found is 54% of them today say the primary reason for using AI is to drive operational efficiencies, right? So automation, improving, for instance, IT support through automated tasks, proactively fixing things. So that's a focus today. In 3 years, these numbers flip. They're expecting that 58% of them will be primarily using AI for a growth driver, as opposed to focusing on these efficiencies. Yeah, so I mean, it's clear that that companies are moving on this journey, on this AI journey, with an increased maturity. 65% of them are in this accelerating AI phase where they are deploying AI into broader, use cases. They're growing the investment in infrastructure and talent to support AI. And already 23% of them believe they are in the AI transformation phase, while transforming their organizations with AI, where AI is fully integrated with their business processes and driving strategic decision making. So yeah, makes sense.
And one of the other things the survey highlights was the impact. I don't know whether it's potential or actual at the moment in terms of AI automation helping to improve a subject close to Riverbed's heart, which is digital experience, and just perhaps outline sort of where people are with it and where they can potentially get to it by using AI automation.
Yeah, so yes, definitely. So that's we found that 94% of the respondents say AI is important to improve digital experience, and even 86% more specifically are saying that AI automation is important to improve IT efficiency and digital experience. So we saw that, for instance, the top 5 ways that respondents expect to use AI to improve digital experience are around workflow automation, so accelerating these tasks that are repetitive or that are time consuming. Automated remediation. So that's where we detect a problem, and that is automatically fixed by understanding what needs to be done and applied to get things going. There's also a lot done today around 24/7 support, like chatbot, where you can interact with a chatbot and address some tasks, some issues automatically. So we see that a lot these days. Of course, data-driven insights. So that's where AI helps you filter the noise, make sense of all this data, and provide information, insights through that. And then we saw also among these top 5 initiatives, feedback analysis, collecting really the subjective insights from end users and making sense of that. So yeah, as you said, that's at the heart of what we're doing. We we have best-in-class user experience solution, but we also drive remediation, right? And we can automate that to support all these initiatives with our portfolio.
And the survey also reveals that most organizations, if not all, have plans to use or are already using generative AI. I'm just intrigued whether the survey understands or anecdotally you can say, because Gen AI is, if you like, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's by its very nature, I guess it's fairly general in what it does. Do you foresee a sort of second phase of AI where, if you like, more specific AI applications are being developed for individual organizations to really get their benefit, as opposed to a lot of the Gen AI ones are kind of everyone can use them and kind of get a similar level of benefit? Just your thoughts there, I suppose.
Yeah, yes, I mean, definitely there's so that's an interesting topic, right? There's a big focus on that, big buzzword, and today only really we found that 34% of respondents are using Gen AI for IT operations use cases in production, or they've completed proof of concepts and then moving into production. But you can think of this is a rich technology and so many use cases where you can apply that for instance, for self-servicing, as I mentioned, proper smart chatbot that understands, the data and can help you address your issues. Or you can use Gen AI for, backend, your IT support engineers and helping them mine the data in a smart way to expose maybe among all these tickets, what really matters, patterns of what is common and should be a priority to address to improve user experience or productivity. There's so much that can be done. This is not necessarily the case today, but yeah. So it seems companies are really interested in this approach, involved in this approach, and within the next 12 to 18 months, 67% of them think they will be using Gen AI into these IT operations use cases.
Okay, and I'm wondering as well, did the survey manage to uncover the way in which organizations are developing strategies for their AI deployments and also identify the if you like, the high performers, the folks that were doing well, and if so, were there some common sort of elements of those strategies that it's good for other folks to understand? What makes for a successful AI strategy, I guess, is what I'm asking.
Yes, yeah. So we did that that work in the survey. So we filtered out, or we correlated the data with high performers. So we looked at companies and we filtered out the ones that have more than 10% growth in revenue over the last 3 years. So we looked at these people and correlated the data, and the findings were pretty clear. So these people, these high performers, have a very strong focus on their AI strategy. Right? 74% of them are saying that AI is really a focus, a strategic priority, versus a much lower number for low performers. And yeah, so 67% of them are reporting that AI is being used at its full capabilities already to improve user digital experience. So they're much further away in this AI journey than others. So some of these successful steps that they've taken is for instance to form dedicated teams, dedicated AI teams and observability teams. 57% of them have AI teams. 45% of them have user experience or observability focused teams. So there's a big focus them. So they use these teams to kind of promote AI within the company, to develop a culture of AI, embrace it within the rest of the organization, to also train the other teams on AI, train the staff on AI. We saw also that typically these teams involve have aspects of involving all generations, right? To make sure that this is your AI initiatives are broadly adopted. And yeah, so they're addressing these gaps that we described. They're using real data as opposed to synthetic data. So the majority of them, 86% of them, that agree that adopting real data is key as opposed to basing their approach on synthetic makes a difference. And yeah, so the general approach is having the ability to instrument everything, get the quality of data that you need for these initiatives, make sure that you can correlate all these data. So there's a indexing this data or data lake approach that is important. Having the right algorithms in place that can mix this data. So it's a multimodal approach of AI, right? That can help identify issues, prevent issues, resolve issues. Yeah, all this is important to these high performers.
Okay, and maybe in summary, I mean, you've clearly outlined there a lot of the reasons for success when it comes to AI. But for those that are maybe a long way off from that, do you have any sort of more basic advice as to how to go about success, and maybe some do's and also some don'ts? Are there any things that you would warn people from, don't do this when it comes to AI? Just any advice you can give folks.
Yeah, surely. I think, and that's what we see from the advice from customers, is to start with the low-hanging fruits, right? Start slow, address things that have a high impact, that are manageable to start with. The focus on productivity, making sure that you are realistic on where you are today. So provide a proper assessment of the readiness of your enterprise before committing to your initiatives, right? And then creating these teams, these dedicated teams that will drive a culture of AI for broader adoption seems very, very important. And keep user experience at the center of all these initiatives, because eventually all your AI projects should benefit the people actually using these services. So in terms of don't, we saw clearly a problem of overconfidence, right? Don't overestimate your capabilities. AI initiatives can be very expensive, requiring a lot of resources. It's important to set realistic goals, to not underestimate competition by being overconfident, right? So that's a big one. And then we cover blind spot. That's very important to get the right data. So making sure that you have in a world of observability, a very good end-to-end picture, including all these gaps that can be brought by things like zero trust environment, the use of mobile devices or public clouds. All these should be covered really to make sure that you're not missing anything.
Okay, it's been lovely to chat. Some brilliant insights into what the survey produced, and just some more general thoughts and advice on the rapidly moving, shall we say, world of AI. So, Nicolas, thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Philip. Thank you so much.